Well, Happy New Year to everyone and welcome to our Sunday Satsang. It's wonderful to see everybody. This is a reading from Songs of the Soul. And this is called When I Only Dream. This is Ananda. This was the very first book he wrote when he came to America. I come to tell you all of him and the way to encase him in your bosom, and of the discipline that brings his grace. Those of you who have asked me to guide you to my beloved's presence, I warn you through my silently talking mind, or speak to you through a gentle, significant glance, or whisper to you through my love, or loudly dissuade you when you stray away from him. But when I shall become only a memory, or a mental image, or silently speaking voice, when no earthly call will ever reveal my whereabouts in unplumbed space, when no shallow entreaty or stern centurion command will bring for me an answer, I will smile in your mind when you are right. And when you are wrong, I will weep through my eyes, dimly peering at you in the dark, and weep through your eyes, perchance. And I will whisper to you through your conscience, and I will reason with you through your reason, and I will love all through your love. When you are able no longer to talk with me, read my whispers from eternity. Eternally through it, I will talk to you. Unknown, I will walk by your side and guard you with invisible arms. And as soon as you know my beloved and hear his voice in silence, you will know me again more tangibly than you knew me on this earth plane. And yet, when I'm only a dream to you, I will come to remind you that you too are not but a dream of my heavenly beloved. And when you know you are a dream, as I know now, we will be ever awake in him. And this is a reading from The New Path by Swami Ananda. And this is from the chapter, The Final Goal. Our Mahatsa Yogananda taught us above all things that the true goal of life is union with God. Devotion, self-offering, self-surrender, oneness in bliss, and divine love. These are the entire purpose of life. Man's relationship with God is intimate and infinitely dear. I don't remember all the words of this song, but I'm not conversant enough in Bengali to understand many of them. But I remember Master telling us afterwards, as I was listening, I too was dancing all over creation. I've hoped above all in writing this book has been to convince you, dear reader, to live more deeply for God, to love him so completely that you become wholly absorbed in him. God hears our every prayer of all aspects of the divine. That of mother is the sweetest. As my guru once said, mother is closer than the father. I too prefer to pray to God as my divine mother. And I can testify to the truth of what my guru told us. When you pray to her, she will answer. And so, Happy New Year's to everybody. And last night we had a ceremony here, and it was very inspiring. One of the things that we did is we had a big bonfire out there in the pavilion, our to-be temple someday. And we did the Mahamitra Jaya mantra 108 times. And we threw rice into the fire, and the rice being the symbol of our past karma. And everybody had a handful of rice and a bowl of rice. We did it 108 times, but my duty was to count 108 times on my mala, so I wasn't able to throw the rice in. It would have been too awkward. So what I did is I just closed my eyes for 108 mantras and said them out loud. And I just closed my eyes, And I drew the energy up the spine to my spiritual light and offered myself into the fire 108 times, just like that. And it was so focused and so deep. I just felt like after 108 times that I had done 108 Kriyas. And I got a deep understanding of what Kriya really was last night just by doing that fire ceremony and saying that mantra. When we practice Kriya, we are in our spines and we are drawing that energy up through the Sushumna, taking all that karma, all those seeds of karma, the rice that we're throwing into the fire outwardly, up the spine, and we're offering ourselves completely into Master's love, into Divine Mother. And the more we practice Kriya, this is the ultimate fire ceremony, the inward practice of Kriya Yoga. This is what Master said. It's nothing outward. It's not a mantra. It's not anything we do outward. But if we can take these incidences in our life and ask Master to purify our hearts, this is what it's about. It's about the purification of our hearts. Sri Teshwar said we cannot even take one step on the spiritual path without purifying our hearts, without the love of our hearts flowing outward, without the love of our hearts being offered to God. We can't even take a step. Kriya opens our hearts. And I really felt that last night. I felt that all those obstructions in the heart, all of those things that Sri Teshwar talks about, the meannesses of the heart. And we all know them. It's anger and jealousy and just the ego getting in the way, the pride of pedigree, he said, thinking we're better than somebody else because of our station in life, or impatience. And these things, they constrict our hearts, and we can't feel the presence of God, and we'll never know who we are, because those darknesses, those meannesses in our heart are preventing us from experiencing ourselves as one with God, because we already are one with God, and we've forgotten. So the more Kriya that we do, the more our memory becomes clear, and we remember. We remember who we are. Kriya is about memory. It's about opening the heart. And I really feel that in this new year, that as Kriya bonds and disciples and Guru Vais of a great master, Guru Vais, disciples of a great master, that when we practice Kriya, that if we do it with that sense of devotion, if we do it with Divine Mother, if we close our eyes and just slowly draw that energy up and purify our hearts and our spine, we will find by the end of next year, if we practice every single day with determination and with concentration and with devotion, that by the end of next year, we will feel freer inside. And that's the point of the spiritual path. That's why we're all here. That's why Master came. Master didn't come just to create a church or an organization. It was part of it. But each individual soul needs to make love to God. And Master said we should want God as a drowning man wants air. Do we really want him that bad? Or do we want to go home and turn on the computer and see who won the football game? Which one is it? How many of us really want God that much? But that's what Master said we need. And so we can't manufacture it. It can't be artificial. We can't just say, okay, I want you, and I'm drowning and I want air and nothing else matters. No, that's not the way it's done. It's done by every single moment. The moments are important, more important than the years, Master said. Offering yourself to the divine, watching the words that you speak, watching the thoughts that are going through your head, watching the reactions that you have when people come into your life that you don't like, that are creating this reaction, we think. Understanding that all of our life, everything that has created our life right now, in this moment, right now, was created by us. It's created by us. We're the ones that drew these people in our lives. We're the ones that drew our insecure feelings about money. We're the ones that have our aspirations and that have created this magnetism to draw these things into our life. It's our own self that has done this. It's our karma. And as soon as we can realize that, then we can relax. And we can say, yeah, I don't like that person. My husband's driving me crazy, but it's him. He's driving me crazy. No, as soon as you realize that maybe he's in your life for a reason so that you don't get driven crazy, so that you can actually control your reactions and offer yourself up to God and don't create any more karma. This is what Kriya is about. This is what Kriya in daily life is about, is offering those reactions to everything outside of ourselves that we think is unfair, that we don't deserve, none of it. It must be this other situation, this other person, it must be the government, it must be the economy, it must be everything else, it must be my financial situation. No, we've drawn it so we can learn these lessons. And what's the lesson? It's what Master just said, that we know that we're a dream, that this dream of God, we are a part of the dream of God. And when we wake up from this dream, we'll know that we are one with God. That's the point. Don't blame the world, don't blame yourself. It's very important that we understand that the heart needs to be open. Many years ago, we're faced in situations in life where it's difficult. Divine Mother puts difficult things in our life because it's going to be difficult to go through the light ultimately. It's going to take all of our willpower and all of our energy and a lot of grace from God. It's going to be difficult. But there was one time when I came to Ananda early on, and they had this class called Sadhana Intensive. So I had never led sadhana. I had never done anything like that. And I had a friend, and Durga said, you should take this class. And I said, well, I don't want to take this class. I don't want my son. What are you talking about? Because you had to get up there, and all the guests that came with the expanding light, you had to lead the sadhana and all, and energize in front of people and give a talk and do all these things. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not ready. I don't want it. And my friend was actually in tears. Oh my God, I can't do this. She was just panic stricken. And so then I thought, well, I'll be the brave one. And so I said, no, let's go to the guest house, spend the night, and we'll make each other strong. And so we'll take this class, and then, we'll feel better. We'll just because they asked us to do it, let's just do it. Let's just say yes. So we did. We spent the night, and she did her energization in front of me, and I did it in front of her, and we took each other into meditation, and we did all these things. And then the next day, when we went to the class, we had to get up and do our sadhana in front of everybody. And it went off really well. And it was I just felt this peace come over me, like, okay, I resisted. Every ounce of my being, I resisted doing that. Then I felt this peace come over me, and I realized, where does that come from? How can that be? Where are my nerves? How come I'm not scared anymore? How come, what happened? It was like a miracle. And I just realized, well, I had said yes. That it's so simple. I had said yes. Yes to life, yes to the Guru, yes to Durga, yes to doing what they asked me to do without any justification. I just said yes. And I put myself in the position that in my mind was the scariest thing in the whole world that ever could be, doing a public talk. That was it. And then it just evolved from there. And I can't say I was never nervous again, but there was that one day, that one experience where I felt like, okay, if I keep saying yes, then the Guru will be pleased and he'll give me this grace in whatever comes up in my life. If I embrace my life, if I embrace the tests, if I embrace the hard things, if I embrace the good things, if I embrace this life as a gift from God, then I'm going to feel his presence. And it's proven so. It's proven so over the years. So in this new year, we have all these, things we're going to do. I'm not going to eat sugar. I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to meditate every day. I'm going to meditate 3 hours a day. And I'm going to do 108 Kriyas twice a day. I'm going to do all these things. We have all these things we're going to do. And then all things we're not going to do. We're not going to sleep in, and we're not going to yell at our kids, and we're going to be nice. We're not going to be rude to our husbands and our wives, and we're going to be, we have all these things. Well, I don't think we should have those things. I don't think we should plan those things, because in a very short time, we're not going to be doing it. And it's going to be, we're going to start feeling bad about ourselves. And then you get into this circle of, oh, I'm such a bad person. I'm a terrible devotee. I didn't do this. I said I would. And oh my gosh, don't do those things. Don't say I won't or I will. What we need to do as devotees and Kriya bonds and disciples of this path is practice Kriya yoga with devotion. Master said that is the key. And that is, Babaji brought this to us so that we don't have to think about how good we are, how bad we are, what our karma is, how we're going to be in the future, how we were so bad in the past. Practice Kriya yoga. This is the key. Very often people come to me for counseling, and they say, the very first thing they say, oh, I stopped meditating, or I don't do any more Kriya, or I've lessened my Kriya, or I don't go to the center anymore because of this and that and the other, and I don't serve like I used to. All of those things, the first thing that goes is the meditation and the Kriya. And then all of a sudden, all those great aspirations start falling apart. And then all of a sudden, all those things we said we weren't going to do, we're starting to do again. Why is that? Because Kriya was given to us by our guru, and he's God realized, and his only job is to free us from all of those things. So we have to get back to the center. We have to get back to the core. We have to get back to the beginning. When we start having troubles in our life, go back to God through Kriya yoga on this path. Go back to God. If you're not on this path, this is the only solution in life, the only solution. All of these things will be added unto you, Christ said, if you seek God first, if you go within. Don't forget God in this world. Don't forget God. I have seen people that maybe don't do 108 Kriyas twice a day, but they do the Kriyas that they do, and they have their sadhana every single day. They don't miss. And maybe it's not 3 hours, maybe they're only meditating a half an hour, but they don't miss. And they say a prayer, and they'll listen to Swami's music, and they'll say a chant, and they'll sing a chant, and their heart will open. And that thread keeps them through the dark times, keeps them through, so that karma will end, which it will. The Kriya will release that karma within the spine, and they're free from that forever. That darkness goes. When the light is on, the darkness goes. It's a very good thing to think about. Kriya is the light. Master is the light. Always cling to his feet and say, help me. This is what this poem is about this morning. I'm there, invisibly guiding you, crying through your tears, my tears, cleansing your heart. Every moment I'm with you, don't forget the presence of the Guru. Don't forget his love. This is what the new year should be for us. We should love God, and we should bring the Guru as a loving, kind, divine friend, the best friend we'll ever have, as Divine Mother herself into our lives. We all have tests. We all have hardships. We have health. We have insecurities. We have lack of guidance. Our children aren't doing well, and we want to do something. Everybody has these. Everybody has these tests. But everybody has God. We have a guru that will point the way. And that's the greatest blessing of this lifetime. We have a guru that has pointed the way through all of it. And it lessens. And early on when I used to give talks, I used to say, whatever I used to say. And I would think in my mind, yeah, but do I really know that? I mean, has that really worked in my life? Why am I saying that if it's not true? I mean, I want it to be true for me. So I want to say something that's true, that I have experienced myself. And I can honestly say now, after being on the path for almost 50 years, that the Guru has never left, that he's always there. And every time I remember that, my troubles go. Maybe not externally right away, but my heart stays open and I feel the presence of love in my heart when I know I'm being guided every single time. So the Guru, he is the greatest. Don't leave him behind. Don't think you're alone. We are never, ever, ever alone. We are always, always in God's love. And in this new year, let's remember that. And not only for ourselves, but we've been put in these positions to meet people that could benefit from this grace. The people in our lives were sent to us by Divine Mother. And so they need us to be in tune. They need us to love God. They need us to meditate. They need us to be with the Guru. Because what else do we have to share with them? Only that. Otherwise, it's just ego to ego. But when we share soul to soul, then you can really feel like you're making a difference in this world. We all want to make a difference. We want to be artists and scientists and musicians and all these things, the best mother, the best father. But it's empty, really, because we come into this world alone and we leave alone. Not really. But in the middle, we have our Guru, and he's guiding us. And he's saying, love this person that you don't like. Do this thing that you're scared of doing. Don't be in fear because of your financial situation. Live life in joy and in freedom. Just feel free inside because I'm with you and I will do it for you and I will do it with you until at the very end of our lives, we're done. Master said, if a Kriya yogi doesn't make it in this lifetime, meaning having every couple samadhi and being free, 1 or 2 more lifetimes. And that I'm sure he meant if you're devoted in those 1 or 2 lifetimes, not just automatically. Well, I can just forget this incarnation because I'll do it next incarnation. I'll do it I want now. That's kind of gives us an out. But if we're devoted, and he takes our karma, just like in that fire ceremony. The Guru, I just felt his energy, drawing that energy up and offering it into the fire of purification. That was the Guru, and that's how we should do Kriya. And that's how we should meditate with the Guru. And it's a life of joy. It's not one of discipline and, oh my God, and I think I'll go find another path that isn't so hard. And they're always telling me to meditate, and they're always telling me to serve, and they're always telling me to do this and that. But really, it's the recipe for pure bliss in this world. It's the recipe for joy. It's the recipe for divine love. So we are very, very fortunate. We're not only fortunate to have the Guru, but we are fortunate to have one another. We are fortunate for our spiritual family. We are fortunate that Master came, and all over the world, there are Kriya bonds now. In every continent, in almost every city in India. We're going all over India, giving Kriya yoga. But, that was Master's vision. That was Master's vision. And so we may not get a physical community here during our lifetime, but it was Master's wish that there would this community idea of Guru Vais would spread like wildfire. And we have to start the flames in our hearts first. This is where we need to light the flame of devotion. This is where the wildfire starts. And when we meet heart to heart and the flames of love are connecting, then there will be a big bonfire, and all of a sudden we'll have a community in Bangalore or someplace else in India, if not here. Swami used to tell us, if people don't do this work while I'm alive, or even while you're alive, he said, no worries, somebody else is going to come along and do it, because it's written in the ether. That's Master's blueprint. Spiritual communities, supportive spiritual communities. And so on that note, I'd like to end because I think we should also keep in mind that we have a beautiful Sangha here in Bangalore, beautiful Sangha all over India. And we're connected to so many people through Guru, through Kriya Yoga, through our Seva. But keep in mind that Divine Mother might ask you to do something that isn't in your normal realm of comfort. Just say yes. She might say, well, let's go start a community. Well, we'll go. But even if one person goes, then maybe two, and then maybe three, and then maybe four. It'll take a while. It's taken a while. Swami came, I don't know, 20 years ago. And we still don't have a community where everybody goes. But the monks have theirs in Chandigarh, and we had a community in Pune, but that didn't work out. So now it's time. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to theorize about it. We don't have to decide what it would be. We don't have to do anything. What we have to do is stay in tune. We have to stay in tune with the Guru, with Divine Mother, and with one another. That's how the community will start. And it'll come through somebody that hasn't even come here yet. But if our magnet is strong, our spiritual power will draw what we need to fulfill Master's wish to have spiritual community. So let's start by living in harmony right here in Bangalore, by living in harmony wherever we go, by loving one another unconditionally, by serving selflessly and saying yes to life, and by being in joy, because there's nothing like it. After so many years, there's so much joy. There's so much joy. Last night, we were talking with a few guru guys after midnight until 2 in the morning, and we were just sitting out on the porch, just jabbering away and laughing and talking, and it was just so blissful. And then we looked at our clock and said, "Oh my gosh, it's 2 in the morning." And that's what guru guys do for one another. You're just yourself. You don't have to be anything other than you are. Just yourself, just your own beautiful soul shining through. No judgment. Nobody criticizes. Just live in harmony. This is the key. This is the secret. And when we practice Kriya Yoga with devotion in that way that I was explaining, the harmony just automatically comes because your magnetism changes. And you have a harmonious magnetism. And people will recognize that, and their magnetism will be attracted. And then we'll have a magnet, and then we'll have more and more and more. This was Master's plan. This is Master's plan. So in Bangalore, Haridas and I want to wish everybody a happy new year, but we also want to admonish you just to say yes to life. That should be our mantra. Say yes to life. Whatever life brings. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. So God bless you all. And may we all live in peace and love, and joy and harmony in the coming year.